Hi everyone, we're really excited today. We have got Nick and the team from Beepo who are going to have a chat to us about outsourcing. So before we get to my many questions, Nick, would you like to introduce yourself and the team, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So, hey guys, a lot of you may know me, but I'm Nick Ogden and I'm the National Sales Manager here at Beepo. I've been with Beepo since the very, very early days, and I'm really proud of the business that we've built and that we have as we sit here in 2018. Real estate's been a heavy focus for us, and we're just about to hand over and introduce you to our team. But through a partnership with the guys at head office here, we've been able to build a product to support you guys in growing your business long term by accessing some of the great talent. A great representation we're about to introduce you to now. So let me hand over to Adrian and he can start the introductions in our office in Clark.
All right, thanks, Nick. Hi, everyone. My name is Adrian. So just a bit of introduction of my background. So I had a degree in accountancy, but I've spent most of my career in the Philippine outsourcing industry. So I've been in this industry for about 16 years now. So I have had experience in training, business development, and various leadership roles. In 2014, I joined Beepo. So I've been working with Australian businesses for close to 4 years now. And as I mentioned to a lot of my clients, by this time when you respond, yeah, no, I already have an idea what you mean. And at the same time, I've been working with different businesses in Australia. My current role in Beepo is I'm the account manager of Beepo's real estate team. Our team right now, we have around 75 team members, and we have different team members working in different spaces in real estate, such as property management. We also have team members supporting sales, marketing, and accounts. More than half of our clients are within the LJ Hooker franchise. And what we call our team is called the client experience team, mainly responsible in making sure that we give the best experience to our clients. I have 4 team leaders in my team, and I also have one of our best trainers, Lamey. So our main responsibility is take good care of the relationship. Make sure that your team member here has all the support, training that they need. Well, take good care of their, the welfare and everything. And at the same time, work with the agencies and the businesses that we in real estate space. So our objective is to have a long-term relationship. We'll take care of your staff here, and at the same time, take good care of you guys. So I'm very much looking forward to working with your LJ Hooker franchise. And I hand it over to Lamey for her introduction.
Hi, good day, everybody. So yeah, my name is Lamey Vega. And my background starts off with taking a poli-sci back in uni days. And in 2008, I ventured into the outsourcing industry. And I started my career in property management assistance back in 2013. It was with Rental Express before.
Jason Rose.
Yes, so Jason. Oh, he's with you guys now.
Yes.
Yeah. He'll see this, Lamey. He'll see this. No pressure.
Yeah. So with Rental Express before, the very first task that I had was actually arrears. And it was very intriguing at first because there were a lot of legislations and regulations incorporated with all the processes of property management in Australia. And that progressed to different tasks like lease renewals, routine inspection, and all that. And from there, that has led me to my current role as the account trainer of Beepo Real Estate Team. And my responsibilities actually include making sure that manuals are up to date, because as you know, with Australian real estate, regulations are updated or they are refreshed, a little bit of tinkering here every now and then. So what I would be doing is to make sure that these manuals that we have here are up to date, just so we are sure that the staff here are also up to date with that one. And I also conduct different trainings, like industry-based trainings, refreshers, up training, cross training, any kind of trainings I handle. And what I'm going to do for your staff is to make sure that they are equipped with a wireframe of either sales, property management, accounts, or even marketing. And I also stand as the SME or the main POC of any questions that our staff have here.
Excellent. So late last year, Lamey, also you came out here to Australia and did some certification training with Ogden. So Lamey she always sells herself short, but she has a train-the-trainer certification with Ogden. So great resource for not only your staff at Beepo to be able to call on when they have, when they have a challenge in their day-to-day ops, but also for you as a business owner as well. We've got a great team. The strength in Beepo is in these guys. So, yeah.
Excellent.
Awesome.
All right. So everyone ready for my 20 questions?
Yes, I was born ready.
Okay. So starting at the very beginning, what is outsourcing?
Yeah. So outsourcing essentially is leveraging the talent that's available in the Philippines to resource your business in a cost-effective way. So it's just leveraging the difference in the salary costs in the Philippines compared to what equivalent salary ranges are here in Australia.
Okay. And are there any other benefits apart from just the cost?
Yeah, I would quote productivity as one of the biggest benefits, and that's certainly something that with the feedback we get from our business owners, without the data, but the productivity rate of a Filipino staff member in a certain space, can be up to 50% higher than what we get locally. So it's not all about cost. It really is about putting the right people in the right roles. No different than the way that you run your business locally. It's about recruiting the right person for the right job.
Yeah.
And essentially that's what we do.
Okay, fantastic. So is there a particular style of business that should be looking at this, or is it suitable for everyone?
No, it's not. It's really not suitable for everyone. But part of our process, though, when we engage with the business owner for the first time, is to actually do that. Take some time to understand their business. And essentially, from the beginning to end, it's just about, tell us about your business. We'll tell you about ours and how we might be able to help. And if we feel that your business isn't at a point where it is ready to get started, and we'll tell you, and we'll also tell you the reasons why. Yeah. But yeah, just about having the right structure and the right process. But no, not a fit for everyone.
Okay.
There's certain things you need to put in place. There's certain buy-in we need from businesses on this side of the water as well. The success of this partnership is not just on the Beepo side. It really is dependent on a two-way constant communication and just a two-way partnership. So both of us pulling in the same direction to get the same result.
Yeah, okay. And so in terms of some of the resistance, it might be that you've got resistance from existing team members. So ones based in Australia might feel a little threatened. What's some of the common themes you've seen around that? Yeah,
absolutely. So look, change management is a really key piece, and it's a really key part of the success long term. So there's a couple of parts to that too. It's just change management. So no one likes change, whether it's a change in software or a change in the way we do business day to day. It's just what we're comfortable with.
Yeah.
And it's just, as a business owner, it's just about how do you actually manage that. That's something I help with, and there's a lot of ways that we approach that. And if we look at the property management space, one of the things we recommend to do is for the team members to literally get an A4 page, split that page straight down the middle. On the left side of that page, to write down the parts of their role that they feel, one, they enjoy, two, bring value to the business, and three, they would like more time to spend on to help grow the business organically. Then in column B is the complete opposite of that. It's what parts of the role are they spending most of their time on. that feel holding them back, and that don't necessarily bring great value to the business day to day. Of course, column B is much longer. It's also the column that takes up the most time.
Yeah.
So, and essentially, column B is all of the stuff that we're looking to support and help with. It's an investment from the business owner's point of view, and they're investing in taking away some of that column B task, to free up the time to focus on the A column, if you like, which are the things that help to grow that business long term.
And I guess what I'm taking from that is being really clear with the team and having the team involved in what the actual process will look like, so they can see that big picture.
Yeah, and also spending time too, and I'm more than happy to spend time with the teams locally, holding a Q&A session exactly like we're doing now, introducing our amazing team in the Philippines, and just taking time to make sure that we are set up for success from the beginning.
Yeah, excellent. Now, obviously, the team aren't around the corner, even further than around the corner.
It's a very long corner. Yeah.
Where are you guys specifically?
We're currently in Clark, Philippines. So Clark is a former U.S. air base. So it's one of the fastest growing cities here in the Philippines.
Yeah, excellent. Now, with that distance, it's obviously a little bit of a challenge sometimes for you to connect with the teams here in Australia. How do you manage that with the teams that you're working with?
Yeah, well, on the early stages when we interact with our new clients, what we always advise them is you treat your Beepo team member as an extended team member. I always use the analogy like it's similar to having a team member inside the room. It's just that you can enter that room. So that's the best analogy. We always encourage them to have at least a daily catch up with their team members. And the technology nowadays is so easy. We're using Zoom right now. We can use Skype. A lot of our team members do have landline phones. So we encourage them to have a quick daily catch up, like a 5-minute, 10-minute, just to say hi, and at the same time, just a rundown on what's store for the day. And that gives, builds relationship, making sure that the team member here is part of that team, because after all, they are. And most Filipinos, when they feel that they're part of a family, they grow with them and they stay with them for the longest time as they can.
Yeah, excellent. Okay. And in terms of the Beepo staff, they're paid a fair wage for...
Yeah, absolutely. So the main reason that there is that arbitrage between the two countries is the cost of living. So I'm currently in Sydney with you, Amy. I don't need to tell you about the cost of living because it is astronomical. But of course, the cost of living in the Philippines is about a third of what it is here in Australia. Well, certainly at least a third of what it is here in Australia. So consequently, wages and salary are about a third of what we pay locally. So the balance is still there. We only employ university graduates at Beepo for the real estate business. We make sure we pay our people well. It isn't a big grey machine. There's a sense that outsourcing is just this big grey machine that churns away, and certainly some may be structured like that. But at Beepo, Adrian said it perfectly there. We talk about team, we talk about family, and we create an environment that the staff enjoy turning up to every day, but also that they want to stay long-term and grow their careers. That's what we're all about.
Okay, so in terms of, say I decide, yep, this is right for me, I want to go ahead, and how does the pay work? Like, am I responsible for things like holidays and super and all that sort of stuff that goes with having staff?
Yeah, it's a great question. So there's a couple of parts to this. So first of all, for all intensive purposes, if we look at the businesses that are getting the best results, it's the ones that approach it this way. So I'm bringing a new member into my team and doing all of the things that they would do when bringing a new member into the team. So And that's things like taking time to onboard them properly, taking time to share the culture of their business, introducing everybody in their team. They're just the things that they would do. If they approach it that way, and we help them with planning of how they're going to approach that, then they'll get great results long term. But the agreement between the business owner is with Beepo. So the staff are officially employed by us under a Filipino employment agreement.
Yeah.
So we take care of all of the payroll, the healthcare benefits, the superannuation equivalent, the staff entertainment, the all of that stuff.
So
that comes
you do the heavy lifting, and we just pay an invoice.
That's right. So we essentially we invoice you monthly for a service, and that service is providing a staff member, but also providing all of the support team that goes along with that as well.
Yeah, excellent. And in terms of employing a team member, can I employ part-time, full-time? How does that work?
We always recommend full-time because the staff that we employ are talented, and to get the right level of talent, you really need to be offering a full-time engagement. That being said, though, we do have part-time options available as well.
Yep.
And we generally approach that when somebody's wanting to get started slowly and then looking to ramp up that role to full-time. One of the challenges with part-time normally is that staff member is part-time for you, part-time for somebody else. If that somebody else, it's always somebody else who snaps that person up full-time. So, and then you're in that frustration of
you got to start again,
back to square one, induction training, etc. So, but the way we approach it at Beepo is if they're working part-time for you, the time that they're not working for you, they'll be working for us. So that way, that person's always available when you are ready to pull the trigger. And as Adrian mentioned, just adding more tasks to the role.
Adrian and Lamey, there's a bit of a time difference between where you are and where we are. How does that work for you guys?
Well, generally we work 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. our time.
Yeah.
So it depends on where you are in Australia. There's either a 2-hour or a 3-hour difference. It works, it's perfect for us. And we're attracting a lot of the talents here, especially in the outsourcing industry, because of the morning shift or the day shift that we have.
Yeah.
Around us are so many outsourcing companies, but most of them are on the western side. So most of the time they'll be working in the night shift, or what we call graveyard shift. And a lot of them they want to go back. They want to go back to have that day shift. That's why Australian businesses are thriving. And part of what attracts us is our day shift, having a weekends off, having a 7 to 4 shift, wherein you get to beat the traffic most of the time. You don't so there's really no big difference. And at the same time, we are able to cover a few of the tasks because technically we stay from 5 to 6 p.m. your time. So those tasks that were not completed, some few calls that are still being made, we can still take them. That's the advantage, having that 2 to 3 hour difference.
Yeah, okay, perfect. And in terms of the type of positions that can be outsourced, what positions are we looking at? What are the typical activities?
So we focus on, and I'll hand over to Adrian to go into more detail, but we focus on 4 main areas when it comes to real estate. So property management assistance is certainly our biggest area. Sales support, sales assistance and lead generation, marketing support. So depending on what the structure of your team looks like locally, having an extra resource to kind of do a lot of the doing that's in that marketing space. And I don't need to tell you about that, Amy. There's a lot that can be a great fit for businesses on this side, and also an increasingly in accounts. So interesting in the outsourcing industry, accountants are early adopters, and the Australian firms have been operating in the Philippines for 15 to 20 years now. So great level of talent.
How does that work with security?
So we have finance level security, so it's triple layered security. So I might talk you through that. So first of all, we're in a gated facility, which Adrian mentioned in Clark. So Clark is essentially a technology park that's set up for businesses like ours. So great infrastructure when it comes to security, but also for electricity and IT infrastructure. So it would be great if we had the IT infrastructure here in Australia that we do in the Philippines, and sadly we're a long way away from that. But we have an armed security guard on the front door, and keypad access to the first stage, and then biometric scanners to the work floor. So 24-hour CCTV footage across every inch of the floor. But then we also customize the security from an IT point of view as well. So it's lock down your software to the workstation. Basically, the portal gives the staff members access to the cloud-based software that they need, but it doesn't give them access to the passwords they need to log onto those systems. So then they can't access that information from anywhere else.
Okay. And so I can't, plug a USB stick in and take stuff?
No, so there's no USBs on the workstation. So we actually upgrade the hardware for the real estate industry. So it's an upgraded PC with 2 screens because it just makes the stuff way more efficient. But the USBs are disabled on this workstation. It's a clean desk policy, so no phones at the desk, no iPads, and no recording devices, not even bad. So it's it's a really strict policy, and of course, data security is a massive issue for everyone, and not just in this industry, but certainly every industry that we work with.
Yeah. Okay. Now going back to my original question before I interrupted, getting back to the day-to-day tasks, what are some of the things that you guys are typically doing?
Well, majority of almost around 80%, I believe, of our current tasks are involved in property management. We're heavily involved in tenancy application, arrears, management, maintenance and repair, routine inspection, list renewals, a lot of e-filing tasks, and invoices. So that's just some for the property management space. We've also gained so much ground on the sales side of it. We've been doing a few of campaigns. In fact, just first quarter of this month, we did a lead generation campaign with 2 of the LJ Hooker franchises, which I like to believe that we did great results. Which is we were able to book appraisals, an average of 5 appraisals per day. We started to gain more competencies around that space. For marketing and accounts, we've also started to get additional tasks, and then develop few more competencies around that. So the majority of it right now are in property management, but we're seeing more and more in the other spaces as well. As our agents see the talent that we have here, started to entrust us with additional tasks.
Excellent. Now, with the property management space, there's obviously many different trust accounting programs and programs in general that are used. Now, Lamey, you're our rock end guru. What other programs are you guys au fait in?
All right. So currently, with our filings, the last time that I checked, we have more than 30 different tools.
Wow.
One of the most frustrating parts about the real estate industry is the amount of software that we've had to deal with. But maybe you could share with the guys the property management software we use and etc.
So currently, we do have 2 types of property management softwares that we are using. One is cloud-based, and then the other is server-based. Server-based would be Agent Plus. We have that. REST, Go Rocket. And then for cloud-based, we are handling from property name to property tree. We even have Rex. We have
Console and Palace are also 2 of the biggest software that we're very much involved with. Essentially the top 5 within the property management
absolutely.
system. We've seen them. So it's very, we're very much comfortable because in one way or another, we have seen how those software work. So, and what we do from our end is every time we have a new client, one of the first few questions that we ask on the technical side of it is, what's the property management software that you guys are using? And once we identify that, we start, giving training from the background on the staff that we're going to assign or allocate to that particular client. Because the reason is that we have so much competency right now in terms of people are already using it. So we're trying to maximize our time. So during the commencement, what we call a pre-commencement, while we're setting up the technology and the software, we're already doing behind-the-scene training for the team members.
Yeah, excellent.
So we identify its risks. We give them time to do side-by-side and observe risks. We also develop training materials around that. So we just want to keep everything prepared and have that team member ready.
Essentially what we try and do is match the way you onboard staff locally. So, bring a new member into the team that doesn't have, a fresh grad, say, that doesn't have a great understanding of the real estate business, has never been in it before. You do kind of some high level training. So all of our staff have undergone a 2-week training program, which these guys implemented and wrote for us. So from the beginning, so that's training just about the differences between the Philippine real estate industry and here in Australia. And of course, there's big differences. Yeah. So we need to provide that context training from the beginning. But then we do more targeted training, as Adrian said. So once we've identified where you want to start and we've identified what software you're going to use, we essentially do side by side. So we sit them next to somebody, same you would do locally. You'd put that person into your business. You sit them next to somebody who's got a great level of experience and knows what they're doing, and they learn by association and sitting next to that person. So for all intents and purposes, we replicate that just in our office in Clark.
Okay, so let's talk specific activities. So it might be that, you're helping with arrears, for example. Now, every office likes to manage their arrears a little bit differently. How do we blend in together?
All right, so what we do with different tasks is we will be tailor-fitting the processes and procedures that your staff here will be handling. Because as you mentioned, Amy, some different agencies want different ways on how to handle that. So if we are going to be more specific, like with arrears, some agencies are okay to have or to remind their tenants with arrears to just send out an SMS or an email. Other agencies are more comfortable to actually give them a call and, just give them a gentle reminder regarding those dues. So what we do is to make sure that we are at a certain level with the POC and then our staff here, and that we understand each other with a process.
Excellent. And I'm going to say, checklists are probably what you guys live by. Would I be right? Yeah.
Checklists and workflows and operating procedures are our mantra, if you like. But
excellent.
For all of the tasks that we've listed, and we have an extensive task list, but for all of those individual tasks, essentially we have a workflow or we have a wireframe of how we feel it should be done. But then we consult with the business on this side and essentially adapt that workflow based on the way the business is operating on this side.
Yeah, perfect.
It can also be a great opportunity for the business too to have a look at the way that's operating currently and look to make any improvements.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, so in terms of hiring off-field staff, how's that for the local Australian economy?
Yeah, look, it's a great question, and one thing our business isn't about is about replacing Australian jobs. That's not what our business is about. What we are about, though, is giving businesses access to talented resource to help them grow their business. So take an example of one of the first LG Hooker businesses that we worked with in Brisbane. When we approached this, he said to every single staff member in that business, nobody's going to lose their job. by us accessing resource in the Philippines. And essentially what we did is take away the rinse and repeat tasks, free up time of the talented people on this side of the water to focus on growing the business. And the reality is any savings that a business owner makes on this side of the water is generally reinvested back in the business. So about growing the business, but growing the business in a way that's sustainable long term, and actually works for the business and works for the business owner, because strong businesses are the most important part. It really is. If we don't have strong businesses, then we don't have jobs, full stop.
Yeah.
And this is a great way for businesses to be able to cost effectively grow their business. And that's the key.
Yeah. Okay. And how is outsourcing different to employing a remote staff member?
Well, of course, cost is a big difference. Of course, there's outsourcing of all sorts. There's outsourcing here in Australia for a whole range of different tasks, and many of our clients have great relationships on this side. So cost is the biggest reason our business exists, of course. So hiring staff in the Philippines is a lot more cost effective than hiring them locally, but also the efficiency that we spoke about earlier. So, and productivity. The stuff, when they're at the desk, it's work time, and it's dedicated work time. There's not as many distractions perhaps as there is locally. So no phones, no social media access, etc., etc.
Yeah.
But also just perhaps a different work ethic and culture too, I would suggest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned saving money several times there.
Yeah.
How much money can I save?
I must stress though, it's not all about saving money. It really isn't. But of course, the difference in salary costs is the biggest key to our business. But and it's really interesting when you take the time out to look at costs and actually think about what is actually the total cost of employing staff and breaking that down, because of course the salary is only a very small part of what an employee cost a business long term. So, but even if we just take that salary cost as the guide, it's about a third as a general rule. So, and that's really across the board for a whole range of different professions, a whole range of different talent that's available. So, if we look at property management assistants, which is the most common role that we fill, it's just over $2,000 a month in total. So with everything included, the bill doesn't fluctuate. It's, our infrastructure and service fees, the talent that are supporting your staff member, all the salary costs, superannuation, healthcare benefits, 30-month bonus pay, literally everything.
Okay, so, and obviously the more qualified that person is, the more you pay. Yeah,
so we recruit specifically based on your needs. So the needs of the business on this side of the water are all different. And as Lamey say, everybody's operating differently too. But there might be an area of your business that you're really well resourced in and you want to focus on something else. Most of the things in the real estate business we've already seen before. But if we haven't, and it's something that you want to do, or it's for one of your other businesses, we can also work with you to help you create the process. So one of the talents that Adrian didn't mention, but we also have Pia in our team, and she's an instructional designer, which is just a fancy way of saying somebody writes process. So Pia's a resource that we've dedicated to you guys. We don't charge you extra for that. So she's actually there to look at some of your training, look at your processes, and then actually develop that into a proper operating procedure document. So.
Yeah, okay. And looking at services like Beepo, for example, what's the difference between me using something like Fiverr?
Okay, so I've only used Fiverr once, and it was Amy actually who told me about it. So, but so we are an end-to-end service provider. So you can see some of the infrastructure in the background there. Our facility has capacity for about 700 staff, but all of our staff work from our facility. So we work with you from all the way from consulting with you in the early part to figure out, is this going to work for you, identifying the areas of your business where we may be able to help, and whether that's now or into the future.
Yeah.
We look after all of the recruitment process, all of the training, ongoing support, and actually helping you get a result. From our business's point of view, and I'm really glad Adrian mentioned this, it's about a long-term relationship and a long-term partnership, because ultimately our success is really linked to your success, because we would love you to grow your team with us at Beepo, in equal parts with you growing your business here in Australia.
Okay. What happens if I'm not excited by the experience as I'm having it?
Yeah, and it happens too, you know. So as we mentioned before, it's not a fit for everyone, and you know, and business needs change too. So we recognise that. There's no long-term commitment to us as a business. So you're not locked into a long-term contract. It's a 45-day notice period if you want to end your agreement. And what that does, a couple of things. First of all, it's one less roadblock to make a decision and get started. There's not a lot of risk, but it also puts some, not pressure, but it puts a bit of onus back on us as a team to be able to be there to help you make it work as well. So, yeah.
Okay. And what are some of the things that you've seen that haven't worked?
Okay.
You know, we've talked about a lot of the benefits and the good stuff, but what are some of the things that haven't worked well, some of the downside?
Hey, Adrian, I might hand this over to you because, and I know the answer, but I know you know the answers too. So, and I would say my thoughts would be, I'll start it off, if communication, if I identify the one thing that holds up the process or holds us back from being successful long term, I would say communication.
Okay.
So,
yeah. And anything different from you guys?
Well, I agree with Nick. I think that's one of the main focus that we want to establish initially, is to have that communication. Another thing is, I guess, usually if a client or an agency would want to get a lot of things done in a very short time, because what we always tell them is, you know, if you work with us in terms of training the staff and getting the staff acclimated with those tasks and roles, most of the time we get the best results. There are clients who would say, this is what we want you guys to do, and you need to do it on your first week. So it overwhelms the team member, and at the same time we get lost because as I've mentioned, on our first few weeks, it's really a getting to know each other stage. We want to get to know your office. We want to get to know you. Want to get to know your team members. We want to see your workflow. We're going to tell you how we're doing it right from our end, and then try to customize that. So when you try to go to that shortcut, most of the time we hit that wall. So this is what we're doing right now with most of our clients. We're doing that. We take a step back and tell them, hey guys, based on our experience, this is how it's going to work best. We understand so many tasks there that you want us to be involved with, and we're going to get there. But you need to also work with us in terms of pacing it, in terms of training and getting to know. What we encourage is, you know, show us how you're doing it. We're going to record it. We're going to create a documentation. And then afterwards, we're going to have a teach back process. We're going to teach, you know, the team member will try to explain how we understand the process. If we're both comfortable, and then the staff will start try doing those few tasks with your guidance. And once we're all comfortable, and then, you know, the staff can do it by himself or by himself. I think that works best. As I've mentioned, there's really no shortcut. It's similar to how you guys would employ somebody from your end, unless you employ somebody with like 45 years experience. And
and that's a great point. It is if we could just approach this the same way as recruiting staff locally, you know, committing some time. It's all of the things that you do when you bring new members onto your team locally. And once you get your head around that side, you know, the whole process is much easier. So,
yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm really excited and I want to get started, and I want to get started now. So what do I need to do?
It's a great question.
I've got my list, Adrian.
So, I mean, essentially it's reach out to us for the first time. So we're not going to try and jam this product down your throat, and we're not going to try and say, all we will do is simply talk to you about your business, identify the areas where we can help, and help you get things in place to be successful long term. Because from our point of view, we don't want you starting until you're ready as well. So there's some really key points that we help with to make sure that you're set up for success long term.
Yeah, excellent. You guys, anything that you want to add to that? What are some of the things you wish we would do?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, when we started it initially, we did a lot of beta testing and proof of concept, and we've learned so much from all the offices and agencies that we work with. And right now, as I mentioned earlier, we have around 75 team members, and we're that strong and growing. We have so much competency right now, and Lamey being a certified trainer, and on the technical side of it, I believe we're at that stage where we could easily train somebody with whatever that's involving. It may be in property management, sales, hopefully soon in accounts and marketing as well. So we just want to get started. And a lot of the agencies and offices, at times they don't know how to start. All you need to do is take that first step, and then we'll lead you throughout the way.
Excellent, excellent. All right, now before we go, Nick has promised me that you guys will take us on a tour of where you work. Can we do that?
We'll have to do that on a separate one.
That's okay, we can do that on a separate.
Yeah. We've got that organised, so we'll organise for one of my team in Ravi. So Ravi will be taking a walk through and show you guys the
Excellent.
facility.
So we will have part 2 to this clip.
Awesome.
Great. Thank you so much, guys. It was lovely meeting you, and keep up the good work.
Awesome.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, guys.
And thanks, Nick. That was fabulous.
Awesome. Thanks, Amy.
Right.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Bye.